Hey, yeah, what's up, everyone? You watching the Nick Driver podcast? I'm here with Miss Latoya Taylor.
Hey, y'all.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have two beautiful children, ages 6 and 4. I am a licensed cosmetologist of 8 years, and I'm also working on photography and pursuing modeling. That's me. And music, too, of course.
What kind of photography you like doing?
Portrait photography.
Okay. So there you go, man. So if anybody's looking to get their portrait taken, man, hit up Latoya, man. Get your portrait taken.
That's right.
So we were actually going to talk about a couple of different things today. But one thing was, and I've never really talked about it publicly because it's just like people normally don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like not something you would want to talk about publicly, but you know, I figured maybe it could help someone. I know when I was going through what I was going through, it was kind of a whole bunch of, you know, stuff and that you particularly don't want to talk about. But yeah, so I used to have a addiction to Percocet and painkillers. That's tough, man.
That's a real one.
It is. Like, but there's a lot of stuff that led up to it. But I had a blood clot in December 2015. And so I would normally get these cortisone shots in my back. And when I had a blood clot, because I have 2 slip discs in my back, and I have like arthritis in my left hand where I play guitar. It's like repetitive, no constant. So got these little, I don't know if you can see them, it's like calcium deposits and stuff that are like building up. I got like 6 of them. So, but yeah, so I was in like 2015, December 2015, I ended up having a blood clot in my lung. It was a pulmonary embolism. And I got to the doctor's office, or not doctor's office, but I got to the hospital in Durham, where I was living at the time. I went to Chapel Hill, actually. And yeah, man, he was like, "Yeah, you're 3 hours away from dying." And I was
wow.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't late. So he was like, "Man, you joke about it a lot, man." But yeah, so I had that blood clot, and then in like 2016, they sent me to a spine and pain doctor, and because I couldn't get the cortisone shots that I was getting for pain, and they ended up sending me to like a spine and pain doctor, and they put me on Percocet. They put me on like Tramadol at first, and they put me on Percocet. And like before a lot of this stuff even happened, like before I had my blood clot, I was dating this girl who actually introduced me to like painkillers and stuff because I was hurting all the time. I couldn't sleep. And I ain't gonna put her out like that, you know, but that's where it initially started. And I would take them and I'd be able to sleep at night. Well, then I had a blood clot and they put me on them like a different type. And yeah, man, that stuff like about ruined my life. You know, I had to take Xarelto, which is a blood thinner, and then I ended up taking Percocet, but they had me on, I think, maybe like 30 milligrams, you know? And I started like abusing it because, I don't know, that stuff just got in me, man. It was just like it sunk in, you know? And by the time, like I quit taking them, it was like 2018, early 2018. I quit taking them, and and it was crazy because it was like years in there, like just years of like, I mean, it was horrible. It was I don't really know how to explain it other than like, it was embarrassing. And it was like, there was all this stuff always going on, you know, and I thought I was gonna die.
Oh, wow.
Like I legit thought I was gonna die. And I had started out taking maybe like 30 milligrams. And by the time like 2018, it was like early 2018, I was taking like 80 milligrams of like Percocet a day. I was like chewing on Vicodin. I was like, I don't remember playing a show for like 2 years where I wasn't taking painkillers and stuff. And yeah, man, it was a scary moment in time. And you know, during those couple years, I started running with some people that I shouldn't have been running with in the first place. And but yeah, those fights all the time. You know, it was like poorly like played shows on my end. You know, I talk to people really badly sometimes, and you know, and one time, a girl I was dating, this is a different person. She was really really sweet person. She found me like in like late 2017 maybe. She found me like face down in my bathroom,
Oh,
and like
wow.
had to like revive me and stuff like
Really?
yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it got pretty bad in there. But yeah, I tried to quit like 10 times during those couple years, and it was like virtually like impossible for me, and I didn't think I was ever gonna get past that. You know, it was just it's one of them things, man.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
but yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, but I got misdiagnosed as being bipolar. Like before any
Really?
of this stuff happens.
They
And I was-
misdiagnosed you for being bipolar?
Yeah. And like they had me on psychoactive drugs, like they had me on risperidone. Now this is a different doctor. They had me on risperidone, they had me on Depakote. And when I would take it, I would start like, wow, like I was like, you know, and then on top of that Percocet was like an issue. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, so but
These docs are just so quick to put you on something.
they will.
So quick.
And but yeah, I ended up going in January of this year, and they ended up telling me I was actually I was just more of a depressive type. I can get depressed real easy. And I never really I didn't really like hear voices and stuff like that. I heard voices when I was taking those not painkillers. I heard the voices when I was taking the psychoactive drugs that they put me on for bipolar. Like I was hearing stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like legit audible voices.
So it like made it worse.
It made it worse. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't bipolar, and I was taking bipolar medicine. So
So the medicine pretty much made you bipolar.
it made me a little crazy.
Okay.
But I got off of it like in January, and I felt great. But there was just so much stuff that was like going on during that time. You know, it was like you know, I was thinking about you know what maybe some of the things that led to some of the issues, and I was like, well, what did it? Because there has to be like some sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Underlying
Like
issue.
cause, yeah, underlying issue, like a source. And I started thinking, I was like, I think some of my issues was, I would be playing shows, and I mean, I'm fine with this now, but to be completely honest, I'd be playing shows, and there was like because I started playing solo shows like in 2010 or something like that, so it really didn't bother me until I started doing the cover gigs. But I would get done playing a song, and people would just stare at you. It was like they would just look at you. Like, no, they're not clapping. They're just like... And I'm like, what in the world is happening? But
Angry, awkward stare.
it is, man. It is. And but I had a problem with that because I was practicing all the time. I was working on my craft, and I took it personal. And it wasn't something I should have said personal, but I took it personal. And I don't know. It was just like I'd won all these awards. I'd been like a John Lennon Songwriting Award winner. I had been on the radio. I had done all these things. I like toured the United States. I played for Apple Computers. They flew me out of Monterey. I've been on Sirius XM radio. I charted North America. I've done all these things, but for some reason, I just didn't feel validated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was like when I was on the radio, it was like a lot of the dudes that were in my market were like, they kind of separated. It was like a separation thing because I felt like it was, and it wasn't me in that particular aspect, but I think it was because anytime somebody has any sort of, I think, prominence or any sort of success, then some of the people around them kind of feel like, I guess, unvalidated. So I guess I can understand it. When I was a kid, I felt like that, but I've always kind of rooted for people. But yeah, people don't clap. You gotta it's like a constant struggle to try to be liked when you're playing out shows. And you know this, you've been starting, you're getting into doing shows too. And it's a constant struggle to feel like because if you're not liked, you're not gonna get gigs. You're not gonna
Exactly.
So
I've learned also after with the experience of doing the shows from a few things that Nick has shown me. It's just to, even if you don't get the applause that you want, or even if you don't get, the handshake or the pat on the back, at least you know that you at least like yourself.
that's true. That's true.
You at
That's
least
true.
like yourself. When you like yourself, you really don't really care too much if people, like you or not.
Yeah.
But then again, you still want people to like you because, like you said, that's how you get. You want them to like something. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
You don't want them to just hate you. So.
yeah. Be like the Joker, but nobody likes you. But yeah, I was like during that whole time period of when the issues with I was wrongly diagnosed as being bipolar, and I was taking those meds, and then I was taking Percocet because of my back and my wrist, but then I had developed addiction to it, and yeah, man, it was like I was blowing money on stupid stuff. I was hanging out with people I didn't need to be hanging out with. Like going to places I shouldn't be going. And, it was like I was irritated all the time because I'd like wake up and I would want to take those pills. And I was like, oh my God. And like I upset my mom and dad a lot during that time period too, man.
Yeah.
And that was terrible, man.
They're probably like, darn it, Nick.
Yeah. we live in a country like, darn it, boy.
That dang Nick driver.
It is. But you have so when I'm growing up, okay, my family we were like tobacco farmers. So they were very tough. And like not like hardcore, but I ain't talking about like they like pistol whip people and stuff, but they're country people. They're tough, man. They're like people you can depend on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The people that get their work done and they do stuff. So when I was in that whole addiction phase with those painkillers, it was like I didn't want to say anything to anybody because I felt very weak. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like all these things during that time, and I had great parents, man. I have great parents, so it ain't nothing like that. It ain't got anything to do with that other than, I think that stuff hits anybody, So, and but yeah, I don't know. It just felt it was a lot of embarrassing moments during that time frame, and I just felt like I couldn't.
This was 2017 or 18?
This is like 3 years.
Yeah.
This is like from like 2000. Well, yeah, 2.5 years. From like one of my exes introduced me to painkillers maybe October-ish of 2015.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting having a blood clot, and I took them all the way through, and then they just started giving them to me at the spine and pain doctor. So, but I'll tell you a crazy story that made me really like look at my life. And I was like, I know I'm like wigging out, because I don't know, it's just like, okay, so my brother lives behind me, right? Like it's like my mom, me, my brother, we're all living on this farm. And yeah, it was near the end of 2017 this happened. And oh my God, this is so embarrassing, man, but I was on these
Tell us.
I was on these bipolar meds, right? So I'm already wigging out. Okay, like it's been years at this point. I'm like, like crazy, man. I know people who met me during that time frame were like, yo, he's nuts. This dude's certified crazy. So I remember, when I was obviously taking the painkillers, and this is like, I don't know, it was cold outside. Like it was like really cold outside. It was like 30, 40 degrees outside.
Like brick?
It was cold, yeah. And like, I have a pond in my backyard. Okay. I mean, it's not a small pond. Like you can see it from right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty big.
Yeah, so I don't know what it was, but I just had this overwhelming feeling that I had to swim across it. Okay? So I like put my bathing suit on. And I walked barefooted from my back door all the way over to the other side of the pond. And I was sitting on the boat looking at it. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to attack it to get in there to get across.
Oh, you were hot.
And my brother was, no, I wasn't. I just, for some reason, I must have been really hot. Oh, Nick, you ain't got a problem. You were just warm.
It's 90 degrees.
But yeah, so, and I'm sitting out here and like the grass is dead. It's that time of the year, grass is dead. There's nothing on the trees. I mean, it's dead winter.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, man, my brother came out and he sat down real calmly beside me. And I love him to death, man. And he goes, what are you doing, man? I said, I'm gonna swim across this pond right now. He said, well, I don't doubt you're not gonna do that. He said, but he said, and he was like, yeah, you don't. He said, if you jump in there and something happens, he said, if you jump in there, you're gonna die because it's dead winter. He said, you got a bathing suit on. And he was like, and he was telling me like my nephews, he was like, they're looking at you out the window right now. And I wasn't drunk or anything. Okay, I really wasn't. Like it was nothing like that. It was just, and I had that moment. I guess I was going through like psychosis. Mm-hmm. To where you just kind of like, I don't know, it was just like kind of I wasn't thinking straight, you know? And, I ended up obviously not jumping in it, and I came back over here and I decided, I was like, you know what, man, I gotta do something about this. I tried, I think one or two more times, and the second time I was able to get off of it.
Yeah.
The second time I was able to stop, I called my mom and I was like, look, I'm gonna have to take off work, and I need to get off these pills. My mom was like, okay, good. She goes, okay. So she came out here to check on me, like over the course of a couple days. I was in bed for like 3 days, like sweating it out. And man, I tell you, that third or fourth day, I got up, man, I felt like a new person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had some of them left. I straight dumped them, and I like flushed them. I had to deal daily with my back and wrist, but I try to just exercise now, and I try to do more natural kind of stuff, and I do take Tylenol.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I ended up, my dad was talking to me, and we ended up my dad went with me up to a couple more psychologists and stuff, psychiatrists, and we ended up like getting like a couple different people, and they were like, yeah, you're not bipolar, you're just more of a depressive type, personality. And and I ended up getting not really on any kind of, I'm on this really light, depression medicine, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't hear voices anymore.
Yeah, that's
I'm not trying to swim across ponds.
That's the best part.
I'm not fighting people.
Yeah.
I'm not any of that stuff. So
that's definitely the best part. We do not want you swimming across frozen pond, middle of the dead winter.
But yeah, it was a lot of things though that came into play during that time. Because you think about, life's fragile, man.
Yeah,
life's
definitely.
really fragile. So
Definitely. I remember, I'll go ahead and touch on the subject.
Yeah.
That happened around, was it around this time? No, it was around the beginning of last year. I say maybe around like between like March and April. I was I'm the type of person, I don't really like to put people out there, but it's a situation that has to be talked about. Speaking of situations, it's something that has to be talked about because I know I'm not the only one that has dealt with it.
Right.
But I was under a lot of severe anxiety. Anxiety, a lot of you don't know, anxiety is when you're kind of like you're walking on eggshells, and that you just feel like, oh my God, what's next? Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like you're not settled, you're not calm, you're not relaxed. You're under severe anxiety. And I dealt with that over maybe from that point last year all the way back to 2014. So from 2014 to the beginning of 2018, I was dealing with a lot of severe anxiety because of the situation I was in, the relationship that I was in. And a lot of times that has an effect. Not only does it have an effect on you mentally, but it has an effect on your physical health. Last year I went down to, I was nearly almost below, I'm small now, I was nearly almost below like 100 pounds, like flat, like 100 pounds flat. And my children saw it, and I'm a mother, and I'm a single mother, and my children saw it, and you know, they could tell that mommy wasn't happy. So I wasn't eating. I literally wasn't eating. Like, when you say I wasn't eating, I wasn't eating. I was drinking heavy. Like look at my body mass compared to how much I was drinking. I was drinking heavily. And I would just stay closed in my room. I wouldn't really go anywhere sometimes. Like, I would miss a lot of work because of, I would have like a lot of sleepless nights. So where I wouldn't sleep, I'd just be up till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I just wouldn't be able to sleep. I just wanted to bring awareness to this because this stuff is real. A lot of people they may be dealing with it now, and sometimes you deal with it and you don't even know it. But yeah, to get out of that, I just had to, I talked about it a little bit on Facebook Live. I just had to free my mind from that situation. I had to get to a point to where I wanted to be, I wanted to make a choice of where I wanted to go with my life, or, you know, what type of life I wanted to live for my children, you know, and they were my main motivation for it. Not only that, but for myself, for my overall health. As we know, this subject is, you know, mainly touching on your health. You know, your health is very important. Your mental health, you know, your spiritual health, you know, all this stuff is really, really important. And to be able to come out of something, you know, especially, you know, coming off of painkillers, bipolar medication, you know, whatever, to be able to come out of that, just lets you know how strong you are as a person.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, like to add to what you were saying too, you know, it's also like a constant just struggle in life. Sometimes it feels like, because I had some stuff happen last September-ish time frame, and the craziest part was the initial issue that happened wasn't something that almost made me like relapse into that. It was more along the ideas of some of these people I grew up with around here. Like, it was like older women were like talking shit about me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I can't believe he, you know, such and such got this girl pregnant and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow. You know, like, and it's crazy because it's like right around, you know, right around you, like where you living, and it's like, you know, you already got the rug pulled out from under you, you know, and it's like, it's literally like kicking somebody when they're down, you know, like I don't really have any enemies, but, you know, when I used to get into stuff with people, you know, you don't want to like beat somebody when they're beat, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, so, but I didn't, but, you know, I had thoughts of it, but I don't really have thoughts of it now. You know, but I'm around it a lot because I play so many shows, but I don't. It's like I attribute that now to like pain and suffering. So when you can attribute something like that to that, it's really not that big of a. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that because that's fantastic, you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
So
Definitely.
But yeah, well, you guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back, and I will lighten the mood a little bit on the next one, man. So, all right, thank you guys.
Later.